Welcome back to Red Business in Focus with thanks to Cork's local enterprise offices, where we are meeting the personalities behind ambitious businesses in Cork. This week we are joined by Arun Kapil, who is an entrepreneur and founder of Green Saffron, a multi-award winning purveyor of the finest spices, rices, sauces and spice blends that you'll ever experience. He's also a talented chef himself and author, and an advocate for his fellow small business owners. Arun believes we're only limited by our own imagination, and he aims to inspire and excite home cooks to experiment and explore spices with all kinds of sorts, many of which he's brought with us today. Arun, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much. No, thank you for inviting me.
I have to say, I am a huge fan of your products.
That's
and
fantastic.
I had no idea that they were made in Cork. So I'm going to get to that in just a minute. But like everybody else who comes on this particular series, you have 30 seconds to tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, thank you. So we essentially focus on front and back end. So we are trading direct at source with farmers in India. So we support the villages through the sarpanch, the heads of the villages. So we're new season's crop. So we're buying spices direct from farmers in India. We then process those and we have a brand, which we're just relaunching. So the front end for us is the branded activity, and the back end for us is our raw materials with a unique USP, new season's crop, direct to farm, sustainable spices.
The smell, I know this isn't smell-o-vision, people can't smell it, but the second we started taking out, it's just the pouches, this wonderful aroma rose up. I mean, why did you start doing this?
But you see, this, yeah, exactly, and for that exact reason, to bring that enthusiasm and to bring that sort of vibrancy, to expose that vibrancy that spice can bring to food. I started it, I came and did the cookery course here in Ireland, and I thought, didn't really know what I was going to do, but I kind of fell in love with Ireland. And whilst I was working in the kitchens of Ballymaloe, I thought, okay, kind of missing my spices. So I called my father put me in touch with my cousin, and I started a farmer's market stall selling 2 sachets a week at €3.50 each.
Now, to be fair to Ballymaloe, they wouldn't teach you to cook with Indian spices as a rule. So therefore you were broadening it out a little bit, were you?
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of engenders that spirit of wanting to find the best and doing things properly. So all this ultra-processed food and all that, sort of knocking that on the head, and just how to cook at home and encourage the home cook using natural ingredients and the best of natural ingredients. So that's why I took spices back to farm.
The products themselves, again, I'm genuinely, we eat this all the time in our house, and I'm fascinated that it was a Cork product.
Yeah.
Was it straight off a hit when you went out to the market and went to the supermarket?
It's a hit in my head because I enjoy it. What I was doing there, before I did anything, I was an actor when I was like 12, 13 years old. And so to me, I was just being a farmer's market, you're being on stage. And so I loved the whole sort of Del Boy bit, wearing my pink sarong and all the smells of the food. And I used to play Bhangra music, and you couldn't help but miss me. Do you know what I mean? So
you stood out amongst all the sausages.
That was
there
we are,
yeah.
Precisely, and the cheeses and the dairy, which were fantastic produce. And I wanted to say, well, actually, spices can be so fresh and vibrant as well. So I would be there doing my Del Boy bit, and yeah, it took about a couple of years, and that is the beauty of Cork and the beauty of Ireland. It was the uncle, the mother, the sister, the brother, the aunt, all started to tell about this funny little boy wearing a pink sarong. And yeah, it kind of took off from there.
How have you found living in Cork? Because again, Indian food, we are slow adapters to it, but we're getting around to it, and we do like it. Were you surprised at the response that you were getting?
I was. I mean, because to me, when I first of all came here, I came in 2004, and so when I started selling in 2006, a curry was a Chinese.
Yeah.
And that was essentially what it is.
And I'd like to point out, nothing like Chinese food at all.
No.
It was very much an Irish take on
you're
Chinese
saying
curry.
That,
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely bang on. And so was it a challenge? I don't think it was a challenge. It was an experience. And yeah, initially I'd get on people coming to the store saying, "Is it strong?" And I didn't. Is it strong? Soon realising that, is it hot?
Yeah.
So I was then talking about spices to do an everyday meal and spices for flavour rather than heat. And that's the sort of tip that I went down. That's the road that I went down, you could say.
How did the local enterprise office help you get off the ground?
Oh, they're just brilliant. I mean, you're looking for support when you're starting to think, oh, there's something bubbling away here, and we're starting to move now, and there's a bit of attraction coming to the store. How do you get onto the next stage, the next level? And the local Leo was extremely supportive. I bought a unit in Knockgriffin in Middleton, and we needed to kit it out, and they came along and helped us with a fantastic grant and helped us kit it out. Yeah.
Without that kind of support, though, would it have been harder for you to do?
Absolutely. No, it goes without saying, and it's all about accelerating your journey. And yes, if you have the milestones and the goals and the vision and all, that's all very lovely, but if you don't have the cash to cash flow the vision, you'll get there eventually, but I'm always wanted to hit the mark sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
and with the grant system, absolutely being able to kit us out meant that we could increase our volume much quicker. Yeah.
Now, I have to talk about two products that you've brought in today. Number one, we're Christmas a couple of weeks away,
Yes.
and you've introduced this, which is the mulled wine. I mean, what was wrong with traditional Irish mulled wine, I ask you?
No, again, you see, I just thought it was a natural fit because I did a Christmas pudding, which won, because everyone thought, was a curry pudding. So I did this Christmas pudding. We won the Food Writers Guild Award for that. And if I had not sold the mulled wine in my first year at Christmas, I don't think my company would be here now.
Read it. That's what got you through.
It flew off the shelf. It's a very simple solution. You just simply rip it up, pour it into a bottle of red wine into a pan, pour that sugar spice solution, stir it around.
Any old plonk in particular? Or?
Anything at all. It doesn't have to be expensive. I mean, I always say like a
not
Shiraz.
Not a nice Beaujolais?
Well, you could have. Now you're getting very posh. But yeah. No, it can be something really sort of fruity, like a Cabernet or a Shiraz, anything at all. Because the sugar in there sort of compensates for any acidity of the wine.
And much as I love the smells that are coming from the spices, and we have the jars that look lovely as well, it's actually the naan breads that I'm really drawn to, because you cannot buy a good naan bread in a supermarket, and I cannot wait to try these. So what's different about these?
Well, we've just won a Great Taste Award for our naan breads, and the difference is it took me a year to develop them. And we're actually hand stretched, they're all 100% natural, they're vegan friendly, and they're in a clay oven. So they're clay oven baked, flame baked. So they are as authentic as you can possibly find. It's myself and actually a couple of Indian chefs that had developed them. In all fairness, it was 2 or 3 of us that did it. And we're thrilled with them. They're selling really well in Holland, so hopefully they'll sell really well in Ireland.
The website, if people want to look you up?
Yeah, greensaffron.com. We're just refreshing our website, and we're trying to do all the SEO, all that stuff in the background. Fancy stuff. And but greensaffron.com.
You can get a lot of this stuff in Supervalu.
You can indeed, yeah. We've just relaunched the brand with a fantastic partnership with a company called FMI, based up in Dundrum. They just get us and they get the brand. It's very difficult finding the right distributor in Ireland, but with FMI, it's been a fantastic partnership, and yeah, we're looking forward to launching into further stores.
Arun Kapil, entrepreneur, founder of Green Saffron. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
And that's it for this episode of Red Business in Focus. Thank you so much for joining us. Next week, we'll meet Dr. Angie Nagel, who's a qualified mechanical engineer and a graduate of Trinity College, who founded Bladebridge, which is a Cork startup that works with wind farms and public bodies to repurpose and recycle wind blades, which otherwise would go to the dump. Angie set up her business with the support of her local enterprise office's Green programme, and we very much look forward to hearing her story. That's next week on Red Business in Focus, with thanks to Cork's local enterprise offices.